And my friend Titus, he's building 3 private cities. So, and I think this is one of the actually one of the talks I'm most looking forward to.
Thank you.
So he's written a book about it, and he's doing it. He's really doing it. It's not just a theory. It's very real. So, Titus, great that you're here. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Aaron. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to speak to you and to a crowd with very interesting ideas. But the virtual world is not enough. You might need a place where you can establish your business, where it's allowed to do your blockchain and your crypto business. Of course, you can hide behind encryption, super decentralization. But frankly, wouldn't it be better if you just could be somewhere where you can say, this is my business, it's bringing the world forward, I'm proud of it, and I want my name associated with that, and I'm allowed to do it here. Yes, and we can provide a solution to that, and it's called free private cities. And in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to tell you how this is going to work. This guy, you might have heard about him, I learned about him in school, is Jean-Jacques Rousseau. And he's supposedly the guy who elaborated the social contract idea. He said, why are we living together in a way that there's a small group of people who decides everything and who is ruling, and everybody else is okay with that? He says, yeah, it's because we have made a contract with those guys, with the government, with the state. We said, yeah, you're protecting us, and therefore we give you all the power to do that. And so far, that is what people are told in school, and that was I've been told, that was what we all believe, and that we think it's all, that's the right way, that's how that makes sense. But here's a problem. Let's assume we're living in a society where majority rule is. So Aaron and I, we could just decide that your business is banned because we are 2 and you are 1, okay? And you might say, that's not fair, right? I mean, that was not my idea of the social contract, because when I'm happy on the system, but I thought that I was allowed to do innovative things. And then the government says, yeah, but people are afraid of innovative things. Sorry, you're banned. Now, what is the problem? Where exactly is the problem? Well, the problem is that you did not give consent that they ban you, and you did also not give consent that they have the right to ban you. And here's an interesting thing, because I looked it up at Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He discovered that problem already. And he said, that's the quote here, from where have 100 the right to want a ruler to vote for the 10 who don't? And he said, and therefore a social contract in the beginning requires, the very first place, that everybody agrees to that, right? You have to agree to majority rule if you should become subject to majority rule. That makes sense, because otherwise, again, Aaron and I would decide that you owe us $1,000. Majority rule, but you said, I didn't do that, right? So we all have to agree, and that is exactly the problem. And if you look in the world, you see political struggles, you see unrest, this is the reason. Because a small group that was not even authorized by you, they are doing basically what they want, and it's getting even worse. More bad news to come. Even if you agreed with the social contract in its full form, it's constantly changed. One side is constantly changing the social contract unilaterally. And here's the secret. It's not you. Now, what do we do about that? Here's a new concept. It's called a free private city. The idea of a free private city is relatively simple. A private company offers you the protection of life, liberty, and property in a defined territory. It's so-called a private governance service provider, if you want. You pay a fixed amount for that, and it's clearly what this amount will be. Because it's in a contract, in a real contract. And this contract is outlining not only what you have to pay, and what our services are for you. Again, it's the protection of life, liberty, and property. But also it says we cannot change this contract unilaterally. And you look, there are also some rules of how do you behave. There will be some regulation about the things that are necessary in the world of today, money laundering, drug trafficking, etc. But you can have a look in this contract and you say, okay, that's not so many rules and my business is regulated well, or not at all, or only so as I like it. I like this concept, and the price, oh, it's astonishingly low. $1,000 a year? Okay, just an example. But it should be this amount because we are only talking about the basic functions of a state, which is protection and the legal framework and some infrastructure. So you can now say, okay, I like this contract or I don't like it. Participation is 100% voluntary. And even if something happens that you decide, okay, that's not that good as I thought, you can leave any time without having any disadvantages. You don't have to pay a leave tax or whatever, special tax, or have to get your capital, leave your capital inside. No, you do what you want. What are the advantages? Well, first and foremost, you have legal certainty. And this is especially true for businesses, and it's especially true for blockchain and crypto businesses. Because in the world of today, no matter where you go, I mean, there are some interesting and good regulations, like in Zug, Crypto Valley, maybe on Malta and other places, but they can change tomorrow, next year. Every year there will be new rules, and you are not the party that decides about that. Here, you have your probably a guarantee that we are not going to change your blockchain rules within the next 30 years. The other important thing, that is man in the blockchain. You want physical security. No matter how progressive you are, everybody wants physical security. You don't want to leave this building and get robbed or beaten. Everybody here in this room wants that. And that is what we provide. We guarantee. That means if you are robbed, or if it's broken into your apartment, you can claim damages from me, right? That is a real legal position. I mean, because you're paying for security, what the hell? And they broke into my apartment. Now I want damages from the service provider, from the city operator. That's your right. And of course, you have a lot of freedom, much more. We are relying on the golden rule. That means you behave so that as you would like others to behave towards you. So if you are harming other people's rights, that is not working, right? You have to respect other people's rights as they respect your rights. But you have full freedom of speech, freedom of association or non-association, whatever you name it, freedom of contract. And of course, this leads to limitless innovation because you can introduce new products, pay in any currency you desire, as long as you are not harming others. And since you gave your consent that other people can introduce innovative things, you cannot run to me and say, I want this to be banned. I said, well, if it's not harming you, it's not going to be banned because I can't ban, because this guy that you are complaining about, he has a contract with me and the contract says he's entitled to do that. So there is no forum where people go and say, I want a special favor, right? That is not possible in this system because it's like a cruise ship, right? It's a private company that is running the cruise ship. In theory, the captain has full power, full executive power, but he's not acting as a dictator. Why not? Because he has a commercial interest. He wants to treat you well because you are his customers. And the same applies here. I have security forces, of course, but if I misuse my power, it would just move away and I would become insolvent. So my incentive is completely different from the conventional systems you're living in, because the worst thing that can happen there to a government politician is that he's elected out of office with a big pension. That's the worst thing that can happen. Well, maybe not the best incentives to make the best rules. And here is no politics in the sense, of course, you can engage in any policy and any engagement you want to support, but there's no politics in a way that this part of the room wants to make a special law that is disadvantaged the other side of the room. And the other side of the room, no matter what political opinion you have a certain idea how the world should work. But here's the problem. The other people have the same idea, but it's different. And we recognize that. We accept that. We say, okay, we agree on a certain set of rules, which is basically you leave others alone. And they should do their thing. If they harm you, it's a different story. Then we do something. But if not, you're recognizing, you're acknowledging that you do not own the truth. Even when it comes to saving the world, there are different opinions how this could be made. And if you accept that, it's coming out to a live and let live society. And it's coming out to a very, very innovative society, and where people are going to help each other because they want it, and not because they are forced to it. Now, it sounds good, but how do we do that? Well, first of all, we need to go to a conventional nation, I call it a host nation, and say, would you allow a free private city to be created within your territory with the legal autonomy I just outlined? I would say we don't need sovereignty. We want to have something. Some of you might know where this is. Somebody knows where this is taken, this picture? Hong Kong, true. This is Hong Kong. And since Hong Kong was given back to China from the UK in 1997, this system is called one country, two systems. And that's basically what we want to approach. Now, why should a country agree to that? Well, it's easy, because they have an interest. They think they can gain something from that. And that's a fair thought, right? Why should they do it? I mean, so we have to give them a favor. For example, we can offer, you have to make a sacrifice. This is giving up some of your autonomy. And we have the right to regulate ourselves and to freeze the legal standards for blockchain regulation, for example. But we are attracting high potentials, high performers from all over the world. And your domestic people will find jobs. And your companies in your country, they will get orders, and they will be hired and engaged for doing buildings, works, and whatever. So if we create something that eventually becomes a new Hong Kong, where before was nothing, that is a gain for everyone, right? That is the idea. We create a win-win scenario. And we don't come with empty hands. We're not telling, I have written a book, I have a great idea. No. We are coming, okay, we have investors in the back. We want to bring, especially blockchain and crypto, many countries are interested in creating a space and to attract such companies. It's even a kind of a hype within the small states of today. Who has the best crypto regulation? So we can make use of that and say, look, we have another idea. It's not only about crypto, but also other companies, other business and branches could profit from this idea. It's called the free private city, or special economic zone next level, or free zone, or special zone, you name it. The name is not the problem. And that's also a problem, an advantage if you say it's not so new. It sounds new, but it's not. Because there are already 2 special economic zones in the world that have a different legal system, at least 2, that have a different legal system within a country. That is, for example, the Dubai International Financial Center or the Abu Dhabi Global Market. They have more or less English common law within the United Arab Emirates, right? It's already there. It's already there. And they have hired judges from London. So it's already there. One country, two systems models are already there, and we are just moving special economic zones. There are already 4,000 in the world to the next level. And of course, we have to make concessions. We have to adapt to the local environment. If in the region where we are, people are fighting wars against drug lords and drug smugglers, we probably have not a good standing if you say everybody can use any drugs he wants because we are libertarians, right? Do have to be a little bit flexible and pragmatic. But in another area of the world, that is maybe not a problem, right? So, and that is what I mean by adapt to local environment. You have to make concessions. You have to take into account the real world. The real world says, know your customers. So I cannot make up a bank and say it's completely anonymous. It's not going to work. you will be either target of organized criminality or big, powerful countries. But we can avoid that. So we adapt to the necessities. We still have a lot of room that we fill out or don't fill out so that you have the freedom to develop your business. And you are not only allowed to do that, we appreciate what you are doing. We want you. We want you to be there. And now here's the good thing. This is already happening. There's a country in Central America. Some of you might have been here yesterday and followed the whole conference. You might know which country it is, but I don't want to say it in public yet because we are in the final phase of the negotiation what exactly this legal autonomy will look like. But we are very, very far advanced. So it's going to happen within the next weeks or so, and maybe at least the next months, that we can publish something. And from 2019 on, maybe earlier, people can then move. And if you are interested, then think about that. Why? Because you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. And that is the idea of free private cities. And if you're interested, then have a look at the website. There's a newsletter you can, it's not coming often, but if something new happens, if we can say, okay, now we are open, now we have a special website, it will be announced there. You can also approach me here if you either want to invest or have an idea about settling there, or putting your business there or a branch of your business. I'm here around still for one more hour. So I would love to talk to you about that, what you think about the idea, but it's going to happen, and now you know about the concept, and hopefully this will not remain with this one project. We are hoping that this will be duplicated and multiplicated over the world. Thank you very much.
So, great. I want to move in. How much is it? $1,000 a year? I'm in.
Yeah, that is.
I'm in.
Yeah, that is in the standard model. We have just looked at Sandy Springs and other privately governed cities to offer what we are offering. It's about at the population. There's also economies of scale. At a population of $100,000, you can make this basic services for about 100,000 people. Sorry, thank you. At a population of 100,000, it's even less. It's about $400. But I think we cannot start at 100,000, so it's about 1,000, and it depends also on the local adaptations. For example, some governments might say you must have one tax or two taxes, so then it will be a little bit different. But in the original model, it's not more than that. And we guarantee
police,
courts, independent courts, arbitration, some infrastructure. And some standard authorities. Garbage might be privatized, but that is not much.
Okay, right. Okay. Your questions, please.
Can we do gambling in your new free state in South America? Can I start a casino there, an online casino and a land casino?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why you can't.
Do I need like a bodyguard army, or? You know what I mean? No, I'm just trying to, I know that you said it's like Hong Kong, but I'm just trying to say you probably get that question a lot too. You know, do I need to bring my own police force?
No, that is basically part of the service, right? Okay. I mean, you can, like in the normal world of today, you can hire your own security, but I don't think it's necessary because this is our main service.
That's why you pay $1,000.
That's why you pay.
Right? Right. So the main service is
security
protection.
And legal stability.
Okay.
Adil? You get a mic? The race of the mics. Okay.
So you had mentioned that, you know, there's sort of like, there's an obligation, right? So if somebody robs my apartment in this city that I'm probably going to move to, I have a claim against them, right? Mm-hmm. But sort of, isn't the body that arbitrates the claim the city itself? So like, doesn't that just seem like the government that I'm a part of today? Mm-hmm. Like, do you see the question? Like, it's sort of, is it different, or like, how is it different?
The idea is that our courts are set up for your disputes amongst yourself. If it's going against us, you can go to a special neutral outside arbitration. that is not part of our organization to avoid conflict of interest.
Would that be like the government of the enclosing country?
Oh no, there are private arbitration organizations all over the world. They are used for in international trade. I mean, they're expensive, so we probably set up something on our own. There's also a very cheap answer that is called ad hoc arbitration that works. We name one arbiter, you name one, and they agree on a chairman. And then that is a very cost-effective thing. But you might also, we are offering a special procedure for these claims, and you might find that this is well working, and only if you are really dissatisfied, you look at the outside thing. But it's a justified question.
Wait, Boris has a question?
From an entrepreneurial side, what interest would a free private city have in diversity? Because the more homogeneous your inhabitants are, the less conflicts there are likely to be, the less costs you've got for police forces. Yeah. So it would probably work pretty well, I would imagine, with a mafia or with like a homogeneous group of people with the same set of beliefs, even religious groups. But why would there be diversity? Why wouldn't this be just a giant filter bubble?
Well, look, it's... I think that it works on you need a certain consensus of values, but not of skin color, right? You can say, okay, this is the set of rules. If you like it, you already have made an announcement, and that is a kind of homogeneity, right? People who want a powerful state and want to have somebody to tell them what they have to do are probably not very attracted by this concept. But on the other hand, I mean, this is a market. It's called the market of living together. And there might be providers that say, we only attracting certain religious groups. Others might say, like, I want to collect people from all over the world, provided that they follow the rules. If they say my rules from my religion are superior, we say, sorry, that is not your place.
So there might be, the filter bubble might be a part of the business model.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but I don't know how is this going to develop. I mean, we are starting in a certain region of the world. So automatically, most of the people who go there are from that region. But if we are more attractive, people from all over the world will come. And well, I'm living in a country that is the second smallest country of the world. It's called Monaco. And it says 140 nations are living there peacefully together. And this is because they are looking who is coming in. They don't let anybody in. They make you a criminal record check and all that. But once this is done, my wife, for example, she's black. She said, this is the place where I feel the most welcome. So far, where we have been. She has been Senegal, France, Germany. Why? Because people are selected. And then it doesn't matter, because everybody knows people who are here, they are taking care of themselves, they want to be self-responsible, they want to work, and everybody knows that's a good basis. So this is the diversity, but it's not diversity in everything.
Who was first? You. Okay, Christoph.
Will the cities have natural inhabitants who don't pay the yearly fee?
Yeah, good question. Probably not. That is a big problem because if I claim that it has to be voluntary, it's difficult to say, okay, there are people there. That is a Monaco problem, right? They don't pay, the others pay. Yeah. No, we want to avoid that. So we are starting from scratch. So that really only people who are voluntarily there. There will be problems in the future, no doubt about that. We will find a solution. But if we have the chance, and we're starting from scratch, 100% of the people there agree with the system.
Okay, and who will do the dirty work? So who will take your waste and sell your
Well, this is not for the rich. This is a Monaco for everyone, right? If you pay 1,000 or even less a year, then you can also be a low-income person. You say, I'm willing to work in the garbage disposal. You are welcome. We want people that are willing to work. That's all.
Right. Please.
I just try to picture what the city may look like or how it may be situated. On an island, on a peninsula, is it right in the middle of a jungle, or is it just a little share of a quarter in a city where people drive through, and you know, even people are prominently present that don't live there? So I mean, is it like, should I picture it like a 5-star or 6-star hotel that I can't access to if I'm not a member?
No, it's more or less like it depends. The certain minimum size is necessary. Ideally, you have a harbor, you have sea access, so you can really trade with the world. So I would say something between 10 square kilometers and 100 square kilometers is a target size. 10,000 to 100,000 people, hopefully then more. Like Hong Kong is the big, basically benchmark that is there, and then we will decide if it's in a region where there's a lot of criminality. You probably have to take more who's coming over the border than in other areas where it's more peaceful.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Matthias. One of the topics I'm dealing with and I'm interested in is, on the one hand, the development of society and economics, and so also a futurist view and standpoint. And on the other hand, of course, it's the question of societal values. So the question is, because this is a sci-fi topic, and I think every second movie, cities becoming their own entities. There is even a current movie of traveling cities. The question is, if cities are getting more and more autonomous, how will there have to be dealt with taxes, since these 1,000 euros a year might be called a kind of tax? And so if cities are becoming more and more wealthy or important or even autonomous, some people say cities will become their own states. How would you deal with this, and how's your viewpoint?
Yeah, I think this is one potential development indeed. And the idea of this market of living together is the social value is that you have the right to live your life as you like it. Of course, without doing harm to others. But that is the main principle. But there might be other society values for other people that have a different view of the world. They say, I want social warmth. I want that everybody is taken care of, and I'm willing to pay more for that. I'm willing to pay half of my income for that. That's fine. Even communism is not a problem as long as participation is voluntary, right? That is the big difference. And that is suddenly transforming. No more need for political struggle. Everybody goes into the society or city that he likes best, he or she likes best. And then competition will find out which things work, which doesn't work. I personally believe that there is no one-size-fits-all solution. Some people might prefer another model to my free private city model. They might prefer a kind of a cooperative model, a kibbutz model, but I also want to encourage those models. Competition is the only limiting factor of power that humans have discovered so far. It's not a constitution, it's not referenda, it's not something written, it's not democracy, it's only competition that limits the power of the rulers. Okay. If you can have the possibility to move just 10 kilometers away to the next free private cities, we are over time, Aaron.
Yeah, we have 2 more questions, okay? This gentleman and you. Keep it short, okay?
Yeah, just a very short adding question. Do I have to picture like having a travel catalog once upon a time, like in 15 years, like 15 cities that I can choose from very easily and that I can switch between as well? What is your big picture?
That would be my picture as well.
Is it
you have 15 cities all over the world. They're maybe catering to different political and cultural ideas, and you can choose between them. Yeah. And they would maybe be allied, right? So that they can bring some also political weights to the table and say we are wealthy and we are 15. Right.
And how big is your investment base? I mean, could you finance like one city in the very beginning, or could you start with 3 cities? Or how big?
No,
is the support
building
of
a city, we are talking about billions, right? So we are starting with a phased approach. So first phase is 1,000 people, second phase is 10,000, and then comes the big money, the real big money.
You, please.
Yeah,
last question.
So for a city-state or a country or nation or whatever you want to call it, you need at least 2 viable things. you need a beer and an airline. And I was wondering if you have those or if there are businesses that are open and if you've thought about implementing beer coin.
Yeah. Beer coin will be the national currency, right?
Well, I'm a free banking guy, right? So you will be entitled to bring your beer coins, and we won't have a national brewery, but I would encourage breweries, and frankly, I have already somebody who wants to do that. With the airline, well, that is something, I think it's a waste of money for most countries because there are already private airlines existing, or even national airlines. We would ask them to serve us. But if it's not possible, I would invite anybody here to come with their own business ideas and say, you guys, you lack an airline. I have one.
And they're not taxed.
Yeah, and there's no special tax.
Yep, no. Okay, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Great talk.
Thank you very
Amazing
much.
talk. Wow.